Queen of Scots. I was born in 1542. At the age of 1, in 1543, my father died, and I was crowned Queen of Scotland. I was sent to France away from my mother when I was only 5, because King Henry VIII wanted his son to marry me, and the Scots hated that idea. My life in France with King Henry II was wonderful. I loved music, dancing, and horse riding. But I missed my mother terribly. I learned French, Italian, Spanish, and Latin, and wrote poetry. I married Francis in 1558. I had grown up with him in the castle. I was 15 and he was 14. The following year, in 1559, King Henry died, which made Francis and I King and Queen of France as well as Scotland. I was heartbroken when both my husband Francis and my dear mother died in 1560, so I miserably sailed back to Scotland. I felt depressed to leave France. I remarried to handsome Lord Darnley in 1566, and we had a son, James, who was also born in 1566. I was fearful of Lord Darnley after he savagely killed one of my dear friends. He became unliked by many people after that, and it isn't a wonder why he was murdered in 1567. James Hepburn, the Earl of Bothwell, who had been one of my advisers, forced me to marry him. The nobles of Scotland hated Bothwell and believed he was the murderer of my late husband Darnley. The nobles gathered an army in June 1567, and I was taken prisoner in Lochleven Castle, and Bothwell was allowed to flee to Denmark. I was forced to give up my crown to my son, as James, my son, was still a baby. My half-brother, the Earl of Moray, ruled Scotland until James turned 18. 10 months later, I escaped disguised as a servant, and I fled to England, never to see my son or Scotland again. I had hoped my cousin Elizabeth I would help me with my troubles, although I had never met her. We had always written kindly letters to each other. Sadly, the English government convinced Elizabeth that I was a threat to her throne, because I was next in the line if Elizabeth died. Elizabeth imprisoned me, and for years I wrote her letters, begging her to show me mercy and let me free. In 1586, the Pope told the Catholics that I was the lawful Queen of England, and so they began plotting to kill Elizabeth. The plotters were all caught and executed, and I was linked to the plot. I was found guilty of treason, and I have been sentenced to death. I will be beheaded at Fotheringhay Castle on the 8th February 1587. I have been held in this prison for 18 long, horrid years, and tomorrow will be